Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 5.
Welcome into Mississippi Live Weather 5. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Rolopon reporting from Baldwin this evening. Our Mississippi Live game of the week, the Baldwin Bearcats taking on New Site, and we'll have, of course, a big rundown on what we expect with this game coming up at 6 o'clock this evening. But I don't think you have to be a meteorologist to know a couple of the headlines are this evening. The fact that it is cloudy, there's some limited shower chances, and oh yeah, that wind that's out there that's fairly substantial at this time has those flags behind me really blowing in the wind at this point in time here. As we check out some of those wind gusts, right now up in excess of 30 miles per hour for locations in the Mississippi Delta, mid-20s here in the northeast part of the state. Expect it to remain pretty windy into this evening. It's that wind and the low relative humidity that's going to lead to a high fire danger, a fire weather warning in effect for tomorrow. We'll talk more about that and the people included in that coming up here in a couple of minutes. It's one of our big headlines this evening. As we look at, again, limited shower chances for tonight, better in the far extended forecast, but we'll show you where it's possible to maybe see a few out there this evening. A drop in temperatures in place for the weekend. You can see some jackets on folks behind me. I've got mine in the car. I'll probably change into that between broadcasts there. Already starting to feel a little bit cooler. And then much better rain chances next week. Aligning eventually as we get closer to the Easter holiday. We're breaking down, again, the timing and impacts with those coming up here in a couple of minutes. It is 60 degrees right now. For that temperature at 6 p.m. We're 55 as we look toward 9. Limited rain chances, maybe 20% or so as we head into the late evening. Those north winds remain breezy overnight, and that'll take us down low 40s by early tomorrow morning. A wind chill factor that will probably be in the mid-30s at warmest to begin tomorrow on a much cooler and largely dry weekend that we have ahead. Our Mississippi Live drone up this evening here, giving us a shot of the field here in the Baldwin area. Again, the Bearcats, a beautiful field there. We've been fortunate enough to catch some of their games over the course of the last couple of years. They have, of course, the baseball facility right next there to the football field. Again, football field more in fallow at this point. And appreciate the good folks here for, all the folks who were a part of bringing us up here to Baldwin this evening. Having a little hard time sometimes stabilizing the drone, considering the wind out there. As you can see, some of the cloudy skies we had toward the horizon. No meaningful precipitation anywhere there on the horizon at this point, as our air just a little bit too dry. And that's one of the factors that I think it really kind of plays into our impacts. Again, great shot there out of the drone this evening. Live shot in Oxford. All of our cameras there showing up pretty good. It brought to you by Phoenix Building Solutions. Of course, big game going on there as well between Ole Miss and Mississippi State. We'll have that SEC baseball forecast coming up a little bit later on in this broadcast. 63, and yeah, that wind north at 25, gusts up in excess of 30 miles per hour. 20 mile per hour wind gusts at our Mitchell Cunningham bowling camera on the south side of Tupelo, looking back toward the southwest, toward Sunshine Mills. At the horizon there, I could see a little wispiness. That's that rain trying to fall, showers trying to fall, but the air too dry. It's largely eaten that up. And Alcorn County, 64 degrees as we look back toward the western horizon as well. So, again, I kind of applied to this Mama Justice Doppler radar that. We show a couple little bits of green there just west of Guntown, but no meaningful moisture out of that there on the latest scans. And really not much out here closer to the Starkville area as well. As we've kind of put this into motion there, we'll make this a 1 hour loop. You'll notice maybe sprinkles get into the ground, but that would be just about it. Again, not a whole lot out there of significance because of just how dry that air is closer to the ground. So our front through the area, that's when those north winds have shifted in. And you don't have to go that far back to the north and west to kind of see some of those showers up there toward Jonesboro, Arkansas. By the time these arrive, they're going to be kind of running out of juice to work off of here. So we don't expect the very significant chances for rainfall. But as we look into the overnight period, we are going to have at least some as that colder air comes tumbling in behind this and the wind associated with that as well. So as you can see on our futurecast here, going through this evening, next few hours, notice those showers up there near the Tennessee state line, closer to Corinth by, say, 9 to 10 o'clock. I think we'll get our game here, which starts at 7 p.m. in before we have more than maybe a spritz or two. As we head overnight, though, those showers kind of dissipate as they move overhead, and we're left with breezy north winds and much, much cooler temperatures, elevated fire danger for your Saturday. I mean, look at this. And I do think the wind's probably underdone a little bit for tomorrow. Still up there, 10 miles per hour, gusting 15 to 20 by noontime, 65 by 3 p.m., and going 64 as we look toward tomorrow evening. That is a lot cooler than high temperatures have been the last couple of days. Now, coming up here in 60 seconds, one of the things to mention is that we do have that elevated fire danger with drought conditions that have expanded. A fire weather warning, also known as a red flag warning. We're talking about who's involved in that and the expansion of burn bans, as well as looking toward the forecast for Easter as Mississippi Live Weather continues here from the Room to Room Weather Center right after this.
Accident detected. Should I call 888-8888?
How do you know that number?
I am from Mississippi.
Ma'am, dial the 8s.
Calling the 8s.
Dial the 8s.
I'm Attorney Casey Lott. When you're hurt in Mississippi, even lifeless objects know who to call.
Don't wait. Dial the 8s.
Look at Wanda, ready to rock her big presentation. But first, lunch. Sweet Pepper's Deli. Delicious, celebratory, but is it quick? The Cobb salad. Tender oven roasted chicken, topped with cheese. Prepared, plated, and served in 6 minutes? Is this for real? Well, of course. Well done, Wanda. Sweet Pepper's Deli. Yes, ma'am. Life is sweet.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lovehon.
Well, we got our Mississippi Live Game of the Week presented by Langston Lott and Casey Lott, and just excited for what's going to happen with first pitch here coming up between Newside and Baldwin at 7 p.m. You'll get full highlights of this game tonight at 10 p.m. on the Mississippi Live Weather. At that point, our Ethan Foster, again, has a big breakdown on what we can expect out of the game. We'll talk to them about that come up during our 6 o'clock broadcast. But as I just kind of walk over here for a second, you can see field looking great. And the folks there, well, I think we got JV going on, and it looks like it's a pretty good game as well. At this point, I'm looking at that, it's a 0-0. So excited to, again, have that game come up this evening. Man, my hair is doing a thing. The reason for that, of course, the wind. The wind, one of the factors that enhances the fire danger that we're going to have over the course of the next couple of days. The feels like temperature, 66, because that lies to you. It doesn't kick in until we're in the upper 50s. But that north wind, obviously, one of the big headlines out there for this evening. So we talked about this a moment ago there. Burn bans have been expanded for Lowndes and Noxubee counties. Now we expect Tippah County could be added here fairly soon. Tishomingo, Alcorn, Benton, and Marshall counties under burn bans. So because of the lack of moisture, but also maybe just as importantly, because of the dry conditions, the availability of fuel out there, the reason why those burn bans have been issued by different county folks. And all locations here that you see in pink under what we call a red flag warning. That's kind of one of those odd weather terms there, but the red flag warning, a sign of elevated fire danger. So this is a fire weather warning, meaning it's very likely that if fires start, that they will spread very effectively. So avoid outdoor burning at all costs, or things that could cause outdoor burning over the course of this weekend. All right, kind of referenced the game a moment ago here again. 58, our first pitch temperature. 7 p.m. first pitch of this game. We're 53 by the fourth inning, and the final out sitting at about 50. Full highlights for our Mississippi Live Game of the Week coming up at 10 p.m. with our Ethan Foster. And we'll have, again, more updates here from Baldwin at that point. But I want to send it back to our Gabe Maynard in the studio. He's been breaking down the forecast for Ole Miss, and of course also Mississippi State, Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Of course, it's the Egg Bowl on the diamond, but also looking toward the Easter forecast as we're thinking eggs there as well.
Matt, you are exactly right. And of course, that game of the week going to be at 7 o'clock, and can't wait to see those highlights coming up later tonight. But not our only baseball game happening in North Mississippi that has some significance. The Ole Miss Rebels taking on the Mississippi State Bulldogs in Oxford around 6:30, and chances of showers are possible. I know it's been dry throughout the day, but as that front pushes more towards the south, it will bring some of those increased rain chances as well. So have the rain gear on standby, but don't complain if it doesn't rain at all, because it is a very limited capacity. As we look at Oxford right now on our Mama Justice Doppler radar, not showing anything in regards to a rainfall. That speck right there, more of that those returns on the radar, not exactly resulting in any of the showers. The shower activity actually going to be more towards Lowndes County, towards Oktibbeha County, and even a few there towards Noxubee County. So the two most recent counties added to the burn ban list, getting some much needed moisture, and even if it is just a couple hundredths of an inch, it is still something. As we look at our Starkville camera, there's a look at some of those darker gray clouds. Not going to be shocked if there's a light rain falling off there in the distance in Oktibbeha County, but we are 73 degrees, dew point increased as well at around 64. So that moisture climbing is a big reason why some of this rainfall is able to reach the surface, unlike yesterday, unlike all week, honestly. And as we jump out there towards Noxubee, a little bit more significant showers pushing off there towards the Claytown area, just north of Height, and some more showers out there towards Macedonia as well. Looking out of our Kosciuszko camera, there's those darker clouds there on the left of your screen. That's going to be where some of those showers do start to form. We are 77 degrees, dew point 63, and northerly winds already kicking in as that front has passed. It's going to be that band of rainfall that's lagging a bit behind. So by 8 p.m., there it is crossing the Tennessee state line. And if the game goes to extra innings in Oxford, I wouldn't be shocked if there was a sprinkler or two. And if you're celebrating in the square, which I know I root for the Rebels whenever they're not playing Mississippi State. Well, they're playing Mississippi State this weekend, so I hope there's not much celebrating in the square tonight. But if there is, it is going to maybe have a sprinkler or two during those overnight hours. Continuing into the early morning, see how those northerly winds just dominate our area, driving out that moisture and giving us those beautiful clear skies to enjoy. Rainfall totals, we're not talking about a ton. There's some of those stripes that are moving through the Golden Triangle, and that's on the lowest side of our scale. Like I said, a few hundredths of an inch, maybe up to a tenth of an inch if we are lucky. But honestly, this is not exactly a farmer's dream when we're talking about those crops getting watered. Low temperatures were 40 Oxford and New Albany, but look at 38 Holly Springs, 39 Southaven, 39 Boonville and Iuka. It's going to be cold, but are you ready for this? Look at our wind chills. Yes, at freezing. For folks in Boonville, Corinth, Holly Springs, Senatobia, Southaven, it is going to be a day where you want to bundle up for the first half of your day. And if you've not cranked the heater just yet, which you shouldn't have just yet, but heading overnight, make sure to crank that before you do go to bed, because it is going to be a chilly forecast to start our weekend off. The day stays beautiful though. Sunshine drives the pattern and gives us those clear skies all day long, but that sunshine, it will warm us up, but we're still going to be below average for those afternoon highs, only going to be topping out around the mid to upper 60s. 65 Water Valley, 66 Bruce and Houston, we're 67 Starkville and Columbus, Kosciuszko, Belzona, and 65 out towards Greenville in the Mississippi Delta. We continue our Saturday night, and again, it is going to be calm, it is going to be dry, so nothing of note with this pattern other than the fact that you should make some plans outside to enjoy these conditions in its full capacity. Sunday morning, waking up, you see how that wind already shifts to more of that southeasterly flow? While temperatures are going to be cool Sunday morning, they do start to increase pretty significantly by the afternoon, something our meteorologist Caleb Edelblut will be tracking into your Sunday, 44, into your Palm Sunday actually, where 44 Houston, New Albany, and Oxford, or 44 Macon, 47 Aliceville, and 43 Hamilton and Red Bay. So feeling a bit better than Saturday, so that warming trend already kicking in place, and wind chill not going to be as much of a factor, potentially feeling like the upper 30s along the Tennessee state line. But that's really it. Cool enough to have an extra layer, though, that is for sure. The day goes on, though, and those winds, since they have shifted, driving back some of that moisture, giving us some of that patchy cloud cover out there in the Delta, right along the Mississippi River, but it's not going to be extensive. Those are real thin clouds as that moisture works its way back into North Mississippi for our Sunday. As we continue into our Sunday night, there will be no rainfall on our Sunday, so we are going to enjoy dry conditions all day long. And as we look at those high temperatures, though, look at how they've increased from our Saturday. Mid to upper 60s Saturday, mid to upper 70s by Sunday, with 75 Tupelo, New Albany, and Boonville, 76 Clarksdale and Cleveland, and 78 Greenwood, 79 Belzona. Wouldn't be shocked at all if a few areas were flirting with the 80s there for our Sunday afternoon. But 80s do return pretty quickly Monday, Tuesday, on into the midweek portion of next week. And that's just a result of that southeasterly wind bringing back some of that warmer air and some of that moisture as well. Now, isolated showers not possible Monday and Tuesday, but by Wednesday and beyond being, yes, your Easter weekend, we are talking about increased rain chances, increased storm potential as well. Potential for maybe some strong storms as well. That's something we'll be breaking down at the 6 o'clock hour, but for now, this is definitely a pattern that we want to be paying attention to, because things definitely do ramp up into next week. It felt like we were pulling teeth trying to get a shower in North Mississippi this week. next week, I think we're going to have enough moisture to satisfy all of us here in North Mississippi. We're also going to be talking at our game of the week, so make sure to tune in for the latest on that as we're breaking down not only your Friday night forecast, but your Saturday forecast as well, and what's ahead for your weekend. And our Ethan Foster joining us for a full breakdown on those highlights and previewing the matchup for tonight. You're not going to want to miss it. You're going to want to tune in. That broadcast, of course, happening at 6 o'clock on your Friday evening, and 10 o'clock will be those highlights, so we get to enjoy that as well. We're also going to be looking more in detail at those burn bans. Amy letting us know that there is a wildfire in Carroll County. We'll be looking at that on radar and trying to get a view of that from some of our North Mississippi Storm Chaser cameras. So stay tuned for 6 o'clock as we break down that fire danger and we break down those rain chances into our Easter weekend. All of that coming up here at 6 o'clock.